Great. So thank you again for everybody for being here. We're just so honored that you've chosen to spend this time with us. We are ΑΤΜΑ Church, and again, you'll hear more about what we are offering in a moment. So my name is Jenna Tantillo. I am a support with ΑΤΜA Church, and I'm just going to briefly introduce the folks that are going to also be speaking today. So maybe if y'all want to give a little wave, and then everybody will get a proper introduction in a minute. So we're also joined with our founder and visionary of ΑΤΜA Church, Whitney Lassiter. Hey, Whitney. We've got Tatiana Rodiero, who's going to be doing a beautiful meditation for us. She's on the founding team. We've got Sarah Solstice to share a beautiful song with us, and Lieutenant Sarko Gergerian, who is our guest speaker. Really excited to hear from Lieutenant Gergerian, who's a police lieutenant, psychotherapist, and psychedelic advocate. So more to come from each of these wonderful folks. So ΑΤΜΑ is a faith-based organization and constitutional church. We invite everybody in our space to embark on a journey of profound inner exploration and personal evolution. It's our sincere belief that entheogens take it as a sacred communion channel our connection to the divine, and we understand this connection to be pure consciousness, an omnipresent essence infusing all existence, and the ineffable source of creation and the genesis of health and vitality. So ΑΤΜΑ actually stands for All Tribes Medicine Assembly. It comes from the Sanskrit word ātma, which means soul. And this church was founded by our dear friend, Whitney Lassiter. And Whitney is, again, the founder and visionary of ΑΤΜA Church. She's got over 10 years of experience on the medicine path. And she weaves this experience with her divine intuition to support folks on all walks of their journey. And Whitney, would love to hear a little bit more about the founding of the church and why you do what you do.
Yes, thank you so much, Jenna. Thank you all for joining us tonight. It's such an honor to connect with you and have you here with us. And ΑΤΜA was birthed as a place where we could come together and utilize these sacred medicines for our healing and to connect with the divine. But also, it's a place of deep community. After going through these deep healing processes, it's really important to have a safe and loving place to land, where you can, connect with others who understand what you're going through. It can be really contrasting to go through these experiences from the way you were before to the way you were after. And so you need to be surrounded by people who can really see and understand what you're going through. And so we can remind each other on a regular basis of who we are, the goodness that we hold in our hearts. So we can really come together and celebrate this gift of being alive. And so that's the main reason that ΑΤΜA was started, as a place where we could come together and do that. And we do gather in person, but there's people all over the world who need this community, and so we've brought it online now. And so really honored to bring special guests like Sarko to come and share with us and inspire us with their stories. And so really, Sarko, it's just like such an honor to have you. When I met you at the psychedelic conference, there was just like this deep resonance and kinship. And so to have you here, to know who you are, what you represent, what you stand for, the work you're doing, it's just such a deep honor and pleasure to have you here. So really honored to have special guests like you here with us. But yes, and so we do these church services online, monthly, and would love just we just envisioning growing and growing, and so people can always drop in and learn more about this work and have others to remind them of who they are. So yeah, thank you all for being here, and thank you, Jenna, for guiding us.
Beautiful. So the pillars of ΑΤΜA Church are sovereignty, faith, community, as Whitney so beautifully shared about, family, cosmic unity, authenticity, acceptance, and compassion. And we really do all we can to infuse these core values into everything that we create, everything that we offer. And we just hope that you can feel it through each of our posts and our events, and just really uphold these to the best of our ability. And now we have a really beautiful offering. The lovely Sarah Solstice will be singing a song. So Sarah Solstice had a hymn-filled childhood, followed by a professional pop career opening for major stars like Britney Spears. She ended up leaving the mainstream entertainment world and now blends education and artistry, reminding others of their extraordinary potential and the illusion of material limits, while celebrating life as a reflection of heaven on earth. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Sarah, who is with Whitney, beautifully enough.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you gathered here. This piece today, it's quite brief, but it's a reminder of this living water that you are. So it says, gather down by the river, all chains are gone. And it says, and the shackles of the mind were never binding. They're left behind as we sing. So just two things I want to focus on here is this river of life that you are, right? When we gather together right now, when we gather together with the sacrament, not only do we have access to this truth, this living water of life, love, all things that never leave us, but we just are them. Right? So this is the river, gather down by the river, all chains are gone. And these chains that are unraveling right now for the whole species, they were never binding. They were never true. Gather down by the river, gather down by the river, all chains are gone, all chains are gone. Down by the river, all chains are gone, all chains are gone. And the shackles of the mind were never binding, they're left behind as we sing. Down by the river, all chains are gone, all chains are gone. And I heard this song in a dream. And so then what is the message? Gather, like all of us. Yeah, gather, all of us. The chains are gone for all of us. I'll just sing it one more time. Gather down by the river, all chains are gone, all chains are gone. Down by the river, all chains are gone, all chains are gone. And the shackles of the mind were never binding, they're left behind as we sing. Down by the river, all chains are gone, all chains are gone. Down by the river, all chains are gone, all chains are gone. So we see that, don't we? When we come together or when we go into our journey and things are cracked open, we see all of this that comes to us that is right here. So thank you everyone for gathering in the celebration of the shackles of the mind were never binding. We drop them behind as we sing at the river of life inside of you. And amen, and amen.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. What a relief.
What a relief. Yeah.
Amen, indeed. Wow, so beautiful. So much just heart coming through that transmission. And yeah, thank you so much. Whew, I feel like I've arrived a little bit more, and I hope you feel the same. And I think after this next portion, you may feel that even more. So we're going to have a guided meditation. Will be blessed by Tatiana. Her longing for freedom, healing, self-actualization has led her to some of the greatest living dance masters and spiritual teachers from various traditions across the world. Following the inspiration of Rumi's poetry, let the beauty of what you love be what you do, Tatiana has traveled extensively in search of the deeper essence embodied into source of humanity's ancient dances and spiritual wisdom lineages. So let's hear what beautiful transmission you have for us today, Tatiana.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Sarah, for serenading us with that exquisite song. So I was walking my son in the stroller, and I just was struck by that bird's eye view, the larger perspective and vision of what we're all doing here. And I wrote down these few lines that I wanted to share. Truly, this revolution goes all the way down to the very bottom, into the root of collective consciousness and the restoration of the heart's reign, a change of mind, an opening of heart, a momentous tipping point to unlock latent superpowers of empathy upon the earth. In theogenic medicines, hold a master key as powerful allies and catalysts in the cultivation of loving kindness, empowered by merciful, insightful understanding to serve justice and honor and protect the sacred in all that lives. So arriving deeper into this present moment, into this body, these incarnations, this moment, beginning to deepen your breath. I invite you to close your eyes if you'd like, and just beginning to expand the lungs with breath, fully oxygenating the body. Deep, full inhales, filling up your belly like a balloon, feeling the breath expand, full 360 in every direction, making yourself wide, expansive. Inhaling, we receive, and exhaling, we soften, we relax, melting any tightness or tension in the body and the mind. A few more just like that. Fully in, expand. And exhale, softening, relaxing, extending the exhalation if you can to make it twice as long as the inhale. That drops us deeper into parasympathetic state where we're able to rest and heal and recover. So fully in, expand, dilate, open like a flower. And exhale, softening, relaxing, letting go. Each breath takes us deeper into the center of our being, into that still point in the eye of the storm. 2 more deep breaths all together. Inhaling, fully expand. And exhale, softening. And one last time, your deepest breath fully in. Hold at the top of the inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And exhale completely. Let your breath go. And hold at the bottom of the exhale for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. And the deeper we go into parasympathetic state, the more we are open into a sattvic state of pure witness consciousness, where we can really deeply receive. And so from this state, I wanted to share a poem by one of the greatest love poets on planet Earth, Pablo Neruda, a Chilean poet. And the poem begins, "Now we will count to 12, and we will all keep still. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for a second and not move our arms so much. It would be an exotic moment, without rush, without engines. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would not look at his hurt hands. Those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victories with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade, doing nothing. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. Now I will count to 12, and you keep quiet, and I will go. Thank you all so much. Peace be with you all. Peace on planet Earth. And we are so overjoyed and honored to have this divine masculine protector of goodness and the possibility of healing present with us to share messages of wisdom and hope and inspiration. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tatiana. So beautiful. I hope y'all are feeling as good as I am and just so dropped in and ready to hear just a really unique and beautiful transmission. So next we are going to hear from our special guest, Lieutenant Sarko Gergerian. He is a trailblazing advocate at the intersection of public safety, mental health, and psychedelic-assisted therapy. So as a lieutenant with the Winthrop Police Department and a psychotherapist, Lieutenant Gergerian leverages his extensive training in MDMA-assisted psychotherapy and ketamine-assisted psychotherapy to reimagine approaches to mental health crises. As a founding member of the Community and Law Enforcement Assisted Recovery Program, he connects individuals to transformative care for mental health and substance use challenges. Currently pursuing a doctorate in depth psychology, Lieutenant Gergerian is dedicated to creating systems of healing that bridge public health and public safety, preventing harm and promoting recovery. He believes that psychedelic therapies, when used safely, legally, and intentionally, have the potential to bring immense healing and attunement to our police force. And yeah, again, so grateful to have you here. And Whitney, I think, would you like to share a little bit about how y'all connected to get us started?
Yeah, well, I shared in the beginning, meeting at the psychedelic conference was just such a special thing because we just had like an immediate kinship. And so now 2 years later, because it's almost been 2 years now, and to follow each other and to see the great work you're doing and to have you here at ＡTMA Church Online to share with us is just such a deep honor. Like it's so special to have you. So it feels so good to see your face here with us, and I can't wait to hear your share. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you for all the work that you're doing. I just want to take a minute to thank everybody for offering their attention to this event, to the people sharing, to myself. I believe that your attention is your source of power. Where your attention goes, your power goes. And I'm just very grateful that you're sharing it with us and me tonight. So before I begin, or as I begin, I just want to read a little share that I prepared. I'd like to take a moment to recognize with everybody here and honor the indigenous peoples whose lands we are on today. Speaking to you from Winthrop, Massachusetts, which is the ancestral and unceded land of the Massachusetts people, who have stewarded this land for thousands of years and continue to do so today. I also want to acknowledge that many of you are joining from Austin, Texas, the traditional lands of the Tonkawa, Comanche, and Lipan Apache peoples. These communities have deep histories, cultural traditions, and ongoing contributions to this land despite centuries of displacement and hardship. I recognize and honor the resilience of Indigenous peoples, past, present, and future, and I encourage all of us to learn about, support, and uplift Indigenous voices and sovereignty wherever we are. With gratitude, I invite us to reflect on our connection to the land and those who have called it home long before us. I just want to take a second and hold that energy that recognition creates. I want to use that to utilize that to lead into something about my background that I think relates. I'm a first-generation Armenian American with Greek ancestry, born to immigrant parents who settled in Chelsea, Massachusetts. I bring this up because my connection to an indigenous people leads to displacement from land of origin as well. So where I found myself in safety in this country, the people that were here were displaced. And, I came to recognize the impact that narrative has on me when I was blessed to be able to do MDMA-assisted therapy, because by chance or synchronistic happening, I met Dr. Rick Doblin at a Chiefs of Police conference in Florida. I was allowed to go as a patrol officer by my chief, and I'm at this conference and I notice in the agenda that there's this person here who is medicalizing MDMA, street name ecstasy. And, to say my antenna went up is a bit of an understatement. So, I had a decision to make because at the time Donald Trump had come to speak to the attendees of this gigantic international conference. To the right was Trump. To the left was Rick, and luckily I chose the blue pill. So I went left and I sat down in the front row and listened to this man passionately present phase 2 clinical trials on the efficacy of MDMA in pushing treatment-resistant severe PTSD into sustained remission. I couldn't believe it. So I introduced myself to him as a patrol officer, a police officer, and a psychotherapist. And I said, I need help with this. How can I help? And he gave me his card and said, the best way to help is to become a psychedelic-assisted therapist. What is going on right now? Psychedelic-assisted therapist. Who comes up with this stuff? I couldn't believe what he was saying. I couldn't believe I had this card. So I reached out to him and was afforded entry into the MAPS MDMA-assisted therapy training program. told my chief, explained why I want to go. He said, that makes sense, right? I want to help people. This is a way to do it. And upon entry, MAPS contacted me and told me that I was able to utilize MDMA in a federally sanctioned research protocol. So now I'm not only training to become something I couldn't even imagine was possible, but now I'm being told that I can legally have access to an empathogen like MDMA. Okay. Because somebody smarter than myself thinks that it's important for people who are going to hold space for others who are on such powerful compounds should know what they do, right? What a radical idea. Should know what this medicine does. So I was like, okay, I'm going to definitely have to get permission for this, right? So I approach my chief again. I tell him, I explain it exactly the way I just shared with you all. And once again, he says, that makes sense. Okay. So he goes, but for this one, I got to talk to the town manager. Okay. So he tells the town manager, he says, that makes sense. So now I have permission to enter this research protocol and experience pharmaceutical grade MDMA under the care of Michael and Annie Mithofer, psychiatrist and nurse. So I end up having what I believe to be a mystical experience. Apparently that happens on MDMA. This is from Rick. 10 to 15% of people report such a thing happening. But it was during this experience that I got to see the impacts of transgenerational trauma and how my entire life was built through what happened to the people I'm connected to. Forcible removal, mass execution. The term genocide was used initially for the first time to describe what happened in 1915 to the Armenian people. But to wake up to the fact that I'm compelled to step in between warring parties to help at the risk of myself because of this made sense. It was the first time I had such powerful messaging around why I do what I do, and a little bit of a key or an explanation as to how I got to where I am and the work I was compelled to do, which included 10 years of work in the nightclub industry in Boston, again, holding space for people so that they can express themselves in an authentic way. So I think I should touch upon the fact that in my background, my undergraduate training was in religion, philosophy, and psychology. And I came into police work with the desire to help, but I like to say I also had a shell. I had thick skin, right? Because there's training and conditioning and programming into a particular type of culture when it comes to police work. And most people who come into policing, they're in their 20s. I was in my 30s. I say this because I had what I believe to be a bit of a resistance or resilience against certain ideas. One thing I brought with me was a love for all people, including ones that have relationships with intoxicating substances, whether or not it's regulated or dysregulated. That includes friends, that includes family members. I had a love for all types of people, including ones that had mental health challenges. I had friends who fall in that category. I have family members who fall in that category. So something about some aspects about policing just didn't make sense to me. And I didn't just push it to the wayside. It caused tension in me. And I started asking questions and wondering what was going on. This led to me realizing that Schedule 1 the severest prohibition against, I'll just say what it is against. It's against plants, cacti, fungi, animal secretions, is artificial. It's unscientific. It was designed with a purpose, and that purpose has played out with tragic results for certain groups of people. You know, when cannabis is still on Schedule 1 and pharma has 4, 5, 6 patents for compounds that come from cannabis, yet an adult in some states still can't have a relationship with that plant, that tells you something. And in certain states, when a person decides to have a relationship with that plant or cacti, fungi, animal secretion, mind you, I believe these things are Mother Earth. When an adult decides to have a relationship with Mother Earth, enforcers can be sent in to arrest that person and put him in a cage, right? Talking about these particular compounds, these particular substances, these particular living things in this context, in this religious container, is of the utmost importance. And what I want to share with you is that it's extremely important to know exactly what you believe. It doesn't have to match what another person believes. It can be completely your own. But to know what you believe ensures you have the protection of the First Amendment of the Constitution, in which one of the first things that are mentioned, that are protected, rock solid protection, is religion, the practice of your religion, the way you see fit. First Amendment, right? And we know in this group, right, that these sacred teachers from a living planet have been used in religious and spiritual practices for millennia, right? And so does the government. And so does the government. And some groups have successfully petitioned and fought for that right all the way up to the Supreme Court and received it. And it starts with, in my thinking, and we can debate this point, and I'm open to debate, and I love discussion and differences in opinion, knowing what you believe. Because the moment you shift towards I don't know or disbelief, you're stripped of your right to the protection of the First Amendment. And the system that we're in has a really interesting way of confusing people, of making them unsure of what they believe, of making them question whether or not they're on a living, breathing, conscious planet that's trying to communicate with her creations. It's sophisticated, it's nefarious, and the results are tragic. But today, I'm focusing on the hope that exists, the protection that's there, and the fact that you need to know what you believe. Test your belief systems. You might have heard this statement from someone way smarter than myself, Simon Sinek: know your why. Know your why, right? Why do I say test what you believe? Because we, as the type of creature we are, need to experience things. Get out there, test what you believe, see what makes sense, carefully, carefully. So I guess what I'm saying is, I suggest saying, I believe in fill in the blank. Know it. I'm going to reiterate this. Without that, you begin to lose the protection of the First Amendment. And make no mistake about it, this journey, and it was mentioned before by others before me in this container, this journey is about freedom and liberation. And it's about getting there and how to get there. And it can look very different from person to person, but it begins with belief. So I'm going to fill in this part as I wrap up what I shared with you all, with what has transpired in the past 2 years since I met Whitney. I consulted with some attorneys, some paid attorneys, and then luckily, because there are beautiful people out there, some pro bono attorneys partnered with me. And they helped me put together a petition to my chief executive at the time. He's currently retired, and the town manager. And that ask was for a religious accommodation to practice my belief system without fear of retribution in my place of employment. I'm happy to report with this group that I received that permission. And it's kind of overwhelming to share it. And I feel so blessed to be able to do it with you all. That has led to me be able to practice my faith in religious settings like the one you have here, with psilocybin, with 5-MeO-DMT, and the realizations that helped. It's hard to put into words because I'm not a poet. I can pretend and write some things down, but it won't resonate like that beautiful one we heard a minute ago. You know, when you're dropped into the collective unconscious because your ego identity has fully dissolved, you get to directly experience what the mystics and poets were trying to share. And that's our birthright. It isn't for everybody. I'm not making a blanket proclamation claiming that this path is for everybody. Everyone comes to it in their own time, in their own way, and some may not, and that's okay. But I believe that what I identify as is a practitioner of mysticism, which is direct experience, no intermediary. And this is made possible through the empathogens, the entheogens, the plants from the mother, who wants us to be able to realize how important this manifestation is, and that we are here to be caretakers, stewards of one another and the planet. So in closing, I just want to say I love you. Thank you so much for listening to my story. My heart is full. I'm overwhelmed. And if any of you need me in any way, shape, or form, you can get my information, contact me, reach out, let's chat, and God bless.
Oh my goodness.
Sarko, my goodness, thank you.
Oh my gosh, your share is so moving. I'm so honored to know you, my brother, and so honored to walk this path with you. Thank you for all you are. Thank you for articulating that so beautiful and helping to guide people to really understand, you know, their birthright. And you know that, and to know what you believe. I mean, that's such good guidance, because I mean, that's just a key. And so I just thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here and sharing with us. Oh.
Thank you.
Your love for humanity is felt tremendously. I can see the love you have. It's amazing. So thank you.
Thank you, Whitney. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, guys.
No, I agree with Tony. It just really came through. We can just feel so deeply your dedication to the planet and to just our rights as humans to, yeah, just have access to the bounty of the world. And it's so meaningful to hear that, especially from somebody in your position with your life experience. And yeah, so grateful for what you've shared. And we have some time now if anybody has any questions they'd like to ask, anything that folks want to kind of double click on and go deeper into. You can either share on the mic or type them in the chat. I've actually got a question. I'm curious if you could share a little bit more just about what you think the benefit is of plant medicines for folks that are specifically in the police force. And I guess my question is sort of twofold. And then I'm just kind of curious what the atmosphere is, you know, when people find out about your interest and dedication to this cause.
Okay. So I'll start with the first one. Why for the police force? And I'll broaden it. Why not for all first responders, working and retired? It can be figured out. The safe ways can be done safely. For police officers, these are on average numbers. You look at one research, it says one number. You look at other research, it says another number. 200 to 800 critical incidents exposure over an average career, right? 25, 30 years. That's a nervous system that's getting hammered with critical incidents. These are the most intense experiences anyone can have, right? I don't need to rattle out what they can be. Use your imagination. Horror movie times 10. Okay. One is enough to send somebody's life sideways. Our men and women in first responder roles are being exposed to hundreds of them, working with subclinical mental health challenges, right? Depression, undiagnosed, anxiety, undiagnosed, PTSD, undiagnosed, family dynamics issues through the roof, marriage 1 over, marriage 2 over, marriage 3 over, people joking around in trainings, raising their hands, which marriage are you on, right? You know, it's a way of, you know, dealing with the tragic energy around that. And then upon retirement, death, 5 to 10 years. That's 10 to 20 years before our civilian brothers and sisters. Okay, so why not us? Why not allow these men and women access to the divine so they can make sense of who and what they are, find their purpose, and work with resiliency rather than work fully depleted, right? Wouldn't you want a fully resilient, full of capacity, well-rested individual showing up to help a family member in crisis? I know I would. I aspire to be that person. Do I pull it off? I don't know. But I aspire to be that person, right? I want to show up and I want to be able to help properly, with care, with nuance when I can, because that's what a family member deserves. So to not allow first responders access, I think, is completely inappropriate. You know, it's tragic. It's tragic. What was the other question?
I'm curious just about the like the sort of environment overall, like when people find out that you're interested in this work and practice, is it generally like, are people open to hearing the conversation, or is it something that people are a bit more closed off to? Curious.
Sure. Yeah. So, you know, 10 years ago, I've been on the force for 15 years. So 10 years ago, when I was telling everybody cannabis is coming, They would look at me like I was mental, right? And then when it came, I said, the psychedelics are coming. Same thing. So they would look at me not so intensely now. They're like, what is this guy talking about? And why are his antennas tied into that? But he was right about cannabis, right? Half the country's gone green. And it looks like he might be right about what's happening with the psychedelics. It's just because I have my antennas tied into this stuff, right? And they don't. And here's the point I'm trying to make. They don't, because it's made even more hostile and dangerous for them to consider these things than it is for a civilian. The first responders are actually in a cage that's got bars that are thicker than civilians around these topics, because the rules, regulations, policies, procedures, federal law, Schedule 1 bleeds into the institution, and from the institution into the person, and wraps a cage around their heart and soul. So they can't entertain these thoughts. It's too risky. So what happens? What do? We suffer in silence. We don't talk to anybody. We don't get help. All the way to the point where we put the barrel of the gun in our mouths by ourselves in a car. That's not appropriate. So I think more people are becoming open to these things inside the system. It's still unsafe for them to be open about it, but those numbers are growing because of efforts like what you guys are doing, what we're all doing. Okay, we need to destigmatize this. We need to normalize this. We need to talk to people about this honestly, right? There is safe and unsafe ways to do everything, right? You can drive a car in a safe or unsafe way. We don't prohibit it or criminalize it. I hope that answered the question.
It does, and really powerful analogy there at the end, with like the vehicle, and there's anything can be medicine or poison, is something that I hear from time to time, and I really find that to be true and coming through in your message. Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, and I never really thought of it in that way, where it's like these, first responders and officers are even more bounds than, just, regular people walking the street, because of, of just the system and in which they're, yeah. So when you put it that way, it's just like, wow, I'm so thankful for you speaking out, a voice that will be heard, like we're just, yeah, I'm just amazed. I'm so grateful to be, front row and center watching all of this, happen. And I know how deeply, how just passionate you are about, standing up and using your voice to share. So, wow, thank you for making it land the way that you do. Hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. And I have to say this. I have crisscrossed with the most amazing people. Along the way, if I think about it, every step of the way, I could have come across somebody that pushed me out of the office, shut the door, didn't take what I was saying seriously. This truly was a tribe watching out.
Mm,
So
mm, thank you.
yeah, just another deep bow of gratitude to you for sharing your message, Lieutenant Gergerian, for all the for being here with us, and also just for this beautiful and important work you're doing in the world. And I know that, I only can gather from what you've shared and what I understand about like the intensity of being a police officer, and just folks that really are deserving of our respect and of our just like deep understanding, and of course, to access to all of Mother Nature's bounty. So thank you for being an advocate for the planet and for Mother Earth and for just the plants and the trees, and we're just so honored to have you. Yeah, and with
Okay.
that, just thank you again so much to Lieutenant Gergerian. Thank you to Tatiana and Sarah, and thank you to everybody that's joined us here today.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this movement. This is the whole planet is awakening, and thank you for walking this path and being in it together. Mm, Thank you. We'll see you next time. Mm, Bye.